Welcome to Roadmap to Secure Love. Today, Kim and Kyle unpack the ick, feeling towards neediness in relationships and how to overcome it for deeper connections. Let's dive in.
Thanks for joining us today. We are going to answer one of the questions from someone who reached out to us about attachment styles and how they show up in relationships. And this individual reached out and said, I have partners who I'm with, and they might appear weak or needy or really need my reassurance. And I find myself feeling this kind of ick, kind of a disgust response. What do what do I do with that? What does that mean about this relationship? And so today, Kim and I want to talk about that. Kim, what are your first thoughts on that?
Yeah, the ick factor. They're too needy.
Mhm,
They're not strong enough.
mhm,
What does that mean about the relationship? So we really have two things I want to look at. Is number one, the view of self
mhm,
and the view of other.
mhm,
So in this question, there's the view of other, which is ick, needy.
mhm,
But it's missing a very important element to create a different dynamic, which is the view of self.
mhm,
When somebody is too needy, or we perceive them to be too needy, what do we say about ourselves? I can imagine something like, I'm overwhelmed.
mhm,
I'm not going to be able to meet their needs. I'm not equipped to meet their needs. And so that insecurity in myself, instead of feeling that, naming it
mhm.
and sharing it
With that person, with that partner.
with that person and that partner, I go, ick.
Mhm,
And then I put up a wall and distance myself,
mhm,
right? So whenever we get into relationships, we want to think about, what do I say about myself in this relationship?
mhm.
And what do I say about the other?
And this is so important. A lot of us, right, when we're in challenging areas of the relationship, in conflict or in tension, or we feel like our attachment needs are not met, we have such a tendency to look at other people. I do this even as a therapist. And I notice this part of myself will be like, oh, my wife's that way, right? Or she's this. And it takes that moment to go, well, hold on, what's my part in this pattern? And so it's pretty normal for us to kind of think and view our partners and kind of what's wrong with them or what's their problem, and not actually reflect on what's going on for us and what it means about us.
Hmm.
That's really kind of the challenge that, Kim, you're inviting us to look at is, if I'm finding my partner needy, and they might be, what
Hmm.
does that do in me? What
Hmm.
does that touch in me? And that is a way to start to look at, what is my part again in this pattern and how can I work with that? And some people who have that ick factor, it could be, because I don't want you to depend on me, because if you're closer or depend on me, I could fail you. If I
Hmm.
fail you, I'm going to feel shame. And a lot of us don't ever want to feel shame, so we push it away. And so, even though this happens so quickly, we might be pushing our partner away when they're really needing our reassurance or comfort because we're trying to avoid something within ourselves.
Hmm. Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is that it's very common and easy to go to view of other, right? To say, oh, they're this, they're that, and this. But it's really hard to stop and think about what we're seeing in these other people actually does something to me, right? It makes me feel a certain way. We don't live in a bubble, right? Relationships are intertwined.
Mhm,
So what you do, Kyle, affects me,
mhm,
right? And so I've got to slow down to think about, number one, what's the messages I say to myself? And then the second part I hear is that, what do I do with those? So do I push you away? Do I poke back? Do I share and talk to you about my feelings? What do I do with the way that I view myself with this dynamic?
right. And this is what we do when we're working with our clients. We slow these reactions down and we slow down and really walk through what is happening on the inside. When I
Mm.
see this, what I tell myself is this, and what we tell ourselves really influences what we do. If I see my partner as too needy and they're the problem, I'm going to want to distance. I'm not going to want to be close. But if I tell myself, oh, I'm actually feeling overwhelmed because I'm feeling like I'm not doing enough, maybe I can talk to them, and that actually has me moving towards them. And
Mm.
so this view of ourself and the meaning we make is really important for us to slow down, which is what Kim and I do when we're working with our clients. We really slow our clients down so they can understand these very quick reactions to gain clarity of how to do it a little bit differently.
Absolutely. Now, Kyle, what do we do? Because I can see and hear somebody on who's listening go, I don't know what I'm feeling or thinking. I don't know what I say about myself.
Mhm.
I don't know. What do they do?
Well, you can start to think about what starts to be when you start to think ick, what's happening in the relationship. There's something that's going on within the relationship that's sending you a signal to your body that's causing something internally for your response to be ick. And so that is where we invite you to start.
Mhm.
What is cueing or triggering this reaction within me?
Yeah.
And can you kind of start to walk us through how we can really slow that down and get even more granular to understand ourselves?
So, number one, we cue
Mhm,
ourselves that we are activated.
mhm,
Oh, I'm activated. Somebody is needy.
mhm,
Second thing is, I think we name how we feel inside and our actions. I want to withdraw. I want to dismiss. I want to roll my eyes. I want to get louder and kind of name call. What do I want to do? And then if we can slow down just a minute and just really sit,
mhm,
what is our behaviors hoping to accomplish? So if I'm going to name call or roll my eyes or withdraw, I'm going to assume that they're going to back away from me and give me space.
mhm.
Why do I need that? Why do I need the space?
Why is that my attachment in this moment?
Yeah. Why do I need the space? And I can think about I need the space because I've been parenting and moving around and working and doing this and doing that.
Mhm.
I don't have the energy, the spoons, the time to
Okay.
deal with what you're asking me to do. And then if I go even deeper, that I don't have the time, the energy. Maybe what I am hiding from myself is that I actually need something too. And maybe I'm not as strong as I think I am because I can't handle all of these hats.
I
So,
love
what I don't like about the other person, about them being weak and needy, is actually deep, 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 deep inside of me. If I could listen to myself, the hidden places that I don't want anybody to see, say, I actually don't feel like I have a handle on things. And I actually need something. I need space. I need help.
Mhm. I love what you're saying because it is taking these moments and really exploring what it touches within ourselves and what's going on for us that we are reacting the way that we are. Right. And you and I always talk about this in these episodes. There's always a reason. The behavior always makes sense.
Mhm.
Just have to slow down to really get that clarity. And that's what you just walked us through is how to slow down, how to get to the deeper heart of it, and really our attachment needs. And this is one of the things, I mean, I get this image as you're talking about this very typical anxious avoidant relationship. Pursuer
Mm.
would withdraw a relationship. The anxious partner moving in, I need this, I need this, I need this. And the withdrawing partner, avoiding partner, be like, ick. Like I can't do that. I can't do that. And again, these attachment styles, they don't make you broken. They're just the way that you've adapted to relationship experiences, particularly when we're kids. And so it makes a lot of sense that you might push your partner away when they're trying to get reassurance because you learned as a kid that you have to deal with all your needs yourself.
Mm.
You have to show up, care for yourself, and do it all alone. And it's not worth asking someone else to show up or care for you or help you. And so there's a protection here that if we really slow down, is also you have this core deep message that my needs aren't as important. And that is also what's right. If my needs are not important, if if that is deeper there, we're not going to tell our partner what we need. We're not going to say, hey, I'm actually really burnt out. I know you need some connection, but I need a half an hour to just sit here. I'm
Mhm.
really struggling. I love you, but I'm really struggling. Can you give me that? That doesn't come up because of, again, the messages we got growing up, as well as us going quickly into our very habitual protection, which is you're too needy. I got to push you away. You're the problem, which means I don't have to explore what's going on for me emotionally and the deeper stuff, which is wait, what about the needs that I have that I don't even really make space for?
Right. You know what I'm hearing, which actually, doesn't feel the greatest, which is, and it's an invitation to all those that are listening. When you see somebody and you go, ugh, whatever that is, to stop and think, what about me is activated about this? What am I not getting? What am I afraid of? What am I pushing up against? And kind of go, because we're so easy to point to the other. It's really hard and not very pleasant to look inward, right? It takes courage.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of courage. So the invitation I'm hearing is to be courageous. Slow down and listen why you're activated and what you might be needing that you're afraid to express in a way that's vulnerable and transparent. Maybe we can express by pushing away. Maybe we can express by name calling. You're just so fucking needing, back away, right? Those actually don't get us what we want. So, how can we say what we need in a vulnerable way that actually makes connection
Mhm.
and not disconnection?
Right, because if we name call or push away, well, our partner's going to protest. They're going to tell us how we don't care about them, how we're a dick, whatever it might be, right? And we're just going to feel worse because what we need, again, we're getting that message again, what we need doesn't matter.
Right.
And so the behavior, again, it makes sense why we might do it. But some of the behaviors we do actually reinforce our deeper fears.
Mm.
And this is what, Kim, you're inviting us into is how do we look at the deeper fears and do what you've lovely called a detour moment? How do we do this differently? And a lot of us, we all struggle with vulnerability, even securely attached people. In our work with our clients, we help our clients understand what goes on for them and reach from this vulnerable place, which a lot of clients like that. This, Kyle, what you're asking me to do is terrifying. Are you sure? Do you really want to have me say this? And I'm like, yeah. Can you trust this process? Can you take that risk right now? And every time, most of the time, almost every time they do that, their partner is able to go, wow, I didn't know that.
Right.
Wow, I had no idea that that was what was going on for you. Thank you for letting me in.
Right.
And all of a sudden, we have a different experience that what we're feeling actually matters. What's going on for us matters to our partner.
Yeah. I mean, what happens when we become vulnerable and we're both people are looking at view of self first instead of the other.
Mhm.
What happens is that we respond to our partner and go, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. How can I help? I don't want you to feel bad about yourself. I adore you. Right. We're able to meet each other when both the anxious and avoidant partners
Mhm.
view of self is explored first in an argument.
Right.
What is activating me? What do I need?
Mhm.
What am I telling myself?
Right. Which this is what's so powerful is when we can do that and reach from that place, we're doing what securely attached people do. And we're also doing what Brene Brown's research talks about. I look for vulnerability first in you before I show you. But both partners are doing that. And particularly in anxious and avoidant relationships where we feel stuck, we feel protected, we feel like our deepest fears are always happening again and again and again. By slowing that down and being vulnerable first, being the first to be vulnerable and take that risk, even though it's hard, can help us get the connection and help us get our needs met.
Mm. And we're worth it. We're worth being in great connection with others. We're worth having our needs met. We're worth being able to be vulnerable and held. And to do that, we've got to really look in and know ourselves.
And we have to be willing to take risks that are different than what we've been doing. And that's what you're inviting us to do, right? Of how do I go in the inside and let my partner into the inside? That's what,
Scary.
oh, it's terrifying. I mean, I'm talking about my clients, it's like jumping off a cliff.
Hmm.
Will you jump off the cliff in hopes that your partner's there in the warm water with comfort and care?
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
then, again, every time I've jumped off a cliff into water, my heart's pounding. It's like, oh my gosh, is this actually going to be fun? Is this actually going to be safe? Am I going to hit a rock? Am I going to break my? It's terrifying. And yet,
terrible.
when we can take that risk and our partner can be there for us, whew, it's safe. We're connected, and I get a message that I matter.
You do matter.
You matter too. Kim and I are really talking about here is when you notice this kind of ick, this I got to push my partner away. They're too needy, they're too much. We want to invite you to slow down and look within.
Hmm.
What is going on for me? What am I feeling? And then use that feeling to get deeper into what do I need?
Hmm.
What do I need so I can show up to be the partner I want to be?
Yeah.
And then how can I take that risk to let my partner into what I need while also being vulnerable and loving?
Hmm. Yeah. So we want you to identify the cue, the activation moment. I feel the ick. I'm going to slow down and I'm going to notice, I want to withdraw. I'm going to do this, but that's not going to help me. So I'm going to slow down, slow down. What do I need? I'm overwhelmed. I'm angry. I need, what's my heart longing for? Space, time, support.
Mhm.
And then we can go to our partner and saying, I'm feeling like I want to push you away because I am overwhelmed. Can I please have 30 minutes today and just center myself? And then I can be available. But I
Right.
don't have it right now.
What you just heard Kim do is so powerful. This is what secure attachment is I am thinking about you and I'm thinking about me. and I'm saying, you need me. That's why you're bringing this to me. But I'm feeling ick, feeling like, ah, you're too needy, you're too much. What's going on for me? Well, I really need space. I need some time. I just need some time, right? And we let our partner into that. I want to push you away, which is that action tendency. What's going on for me is I really just need 30 minutes and I need that time for myself. And then I will be available for you. This is what's so different. Kim is including not only what she needs, but also what her partner needs, which is her availability.
Mm.
That is secure attachment right there. I'm not just thinking what I need. Go away, leave me alone. You're the problem. That is thinking about what I need. Secure attachment is thinking about what I need with also with what you need, and how do we make this work for both of us? How do we make this good for both of us?
Yeah. It's about you. It's about me. It's about how we make a we.
In today's episode of Roadmap to Secure Love, we dove into understanding the ick reaction to a partner's neediness, emphasizing the importance of self-reflection on our own insecurities and attachment styles. Key takeaways include recognizing our reactions as opportunities for personal growth, the critical role of communication in expressing needs, and the value of vulnerability in fostering secure attachments. By confronting these feelings head-on, we can move towards healthier, more connected relationships. Thank you for joining Kim and Kyle on this journey to secure love.